Hello, fasters. This is Dr. CJ Benkert with Pura Vida Wellness, helping you, guiding you, coaching you, motivating you to live your purest life in mind, body, and spirit. And one of the most amazing things that you can do to live your purest life in mind, body, and spirit is by fasting. All kinds of fasting. We have water fasting and bone broth fasting and juice fasting and timed eating and intermittent fasting. We have 24-hour fast, 36-hour fast, 48-hour fast, 72-hour fast. One 7-day water fast a year decreases your chances of getting cancer by 95%. 95%. So we are now on 72 hours. Wow. 3 full days, 72 hours. Let me know if you've been water fasting for the last 72 hours. And if you have been water fasting for the last 72 hours, have you ever fasted before? Is this your first time? Or maybe you're just listening and reading and you're listening and learning about how your body is a friggin' miracle and that your body can heal itself, that it's our natural right, it's our natural gift, it's our right to have health and energy and vitality. But we've been lied to by the powers to be. We've been lied to by allopathic medicine. We've been lied to by corporations and big pharma and food companies that health comes from without ourselves. Health comes outside of ourselves. We've been lied to, and we have not been told, and hardly anybody is teaching us that our immune systems can be strengthened against this virus, that we have the power in our body to heal our body, that our cells can heal, that we can turn off cancer genes. So we just finished 3 full days. So most of you that are on this journey with me stopped eating Sunday night. So Monday night was 24 hours. Tuesday night, last night, was 48 hours. And now we are 3 full days, 72 hours into a 5-day, maybe 6, maybe 7. I know a lot of my clients want to go at least 7. Every time you fast, you can go longer and longer typically. So the longest I ever fasted was for 12 days. And I went to a Dr. Pompa. My shoulders look funky. Been having trouble with this shoulder, and I can see this is the chiropractic in me. Yeah, my shoulders are off. This shoulder, I almost dislocated over the weekend. Okay, sorry. Anyways, so I think it was about 5 years ago, and I was at a 3-day training with Dr. Daniel Pompa. Dr. Daniel Pompa wrote the book called Beyond Fasting. He's one of my mentors. I've been learning with him, and I've been a part of his physician group now for about 10 years. And I would say that so much of what I've learned over the years has been from him. I have lots of mentors. But anyway, I was at a 3-day training with Dr. Daniel Pompa, and he lost his own life about 15 years ago. He basically woke up one day and he could barely get out of bed, and he had kids to take care of and a wife and a full-time chiropractic practice, and he got so sick. And he was a competitive cyclist at the time, working full-time, big, successful, busy chiropractic business. And he realized that 3 days before, when he woke up and couldn't get out of bed, he had had metal amalgam silver fillings removed from his mouth. So, being a holistic doctor, being a doctor that wants to do all things natural, like chiropractors are, naturopaths, he just realized that, hey, I don't really want this metal in my mouth. He found out that half of the metal fillings in your mouth are 50% mercury. So he had a good friend that he went to high school with, and he went to who became a dentist. So he went to go see his friend, and he's like, hey, dude, let's get these metal fillings out. I don't want this junk in my body anymore. I'm a chiropractor. I believe the body can heal. I don't want toxins in my body. I don't want chemicals in my body. So he went to his friend, his dentist, and had all of these metal amalgam, these silver fillings taken out of his mouth. And it's just just a regular dentist. He didn't know any better. Truth of the matter is, I did the same thing, but luckily I didn't get sick like he did. 3 days later, he couldn't get out of bed. 3 days later, he could barely lift up his arms. He was so weak and lethargic. So he spent the next 3 years after those 3 days reading and praying and studying and trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And he realized very soon into it, I was riding my bike, cycling competitively, running a full-time chiropractic practice, felt like $1,000,000. And 3 days after having metal fillings taken out of my mouth, I can't move. I hardly have any energy. I can barely stand the sound of a clock ticking in my room. What happened to me? What happened to me? He went on this journey, we call it from pain to purpose, of figuring out what happened to him. And he discovered through his journey and through prayer and through fasting that he was poisoned by the mercury that was being exposed and gassed out of his fillings when they were being drilled out of his teeth and replaced with ceramic fillings. So he, from that point forward, from pain to purpose, it created a different trajectory in his life. So he went from being this, very similar to the way that I practice, very posture based, very much into corrective care. The adjustment is the almighty. The adjustment can basically cure everything. And he realized that there's many types of subluxations. So if any of you have ever been to a chiropractor and you've heard the term subluxation, there's many types of interferences. Yes, chiropractors specialize in the vertebral, the spinal subluxation, which is a physical nervous system subluxation that interferes with the body's ability for the brain to communicate with the rest of the body. But there's chemical subluxations too. There's mental emotional subluxations too. There's spiritual subluxations too. We're four-dimensional. So he changed the path of his life, and he realized that instead of focusing on the physical subluxation by adjusting people, he knew that it was more important for him, and it was his purpose and why he was put on this planet to now address the chemical subluxation. Because through his research and by fasting and detoxifying properly, which are all the things that I do in my practice now, and many of it, or much of it, is what I've learned from him and many other mentors alongside him and before him. And I'm sure there'll be more after him. So he realized that the chemical subluxation that wasn't present 100 years ago, 120 years ago when chiropractic started, that chemical subluxation, the amount of toxins in our body, the amount of pesticides and chemicals and GMO products and flavorings and colorings that are in our food now, they weren't there 100, 120 years ago when chiropractic started. So back then, a subluxation, an adjustment, was powerful Because when someone's spine was subluxated and they were eating clean, healthy food, you could just adjust their spine and miracles occurred. People that were in comas came out of comas. Kids that couldn't walk walked. These are all true, uh, validated stories. And did you know that spinal manipulation was not just 100, 120 years ago when chiropractic started in 1889? Spinal adjusting, manipulating the spine has been around longer than any form of healthcare. Manipulating the spine was back way before Christ walked on this planet. Hippocrates said, "Look well to the spine for the cause of all disease and illness." But now, because we have so many chemical interferences, chemical subluxations, if you're not addressing the nutritional component to someone's health, if you're not teaching people how to eat, if you're not testing for heavy metals, if you're not doing blood work to make sure that people don't have inflammation in their body, don't have cancer tumor markers growing in their body, aren't deficient in vitamin D, don't have liver inflammation, then you're not addressing the true health of a person. You're not really helping them 100%. If you're just adjusting them and they're going home and eating Twinkies and they've got metal in their mouth and they have aluminum in the deodorant that they're using, they're going to get Alzheimer's disease. They're going to end up getting cancer. The adjustment's not going to be the cure-all anymore. Now, the physical subluxation's real. And is chiropractic amazing? Yes. If somebody told me that I couldn't get adjusted for the rest of my life, I'd be a very sad little girl. I'd be very sad and very unhappy because chiropractic has been huge in my life. But what's been even bigger in my life was 7 years ago when I started experimenting with these different ways of eating based on all the different things that people had taught me over the years. And I started discovering fasting and intermittent fasting and ketosis and diet variation. And I started using these tools and these strategies, ancient healing strategies, and these modern health solutions and strategies based on science, and developed the Putavi, the transformation system, and started taking people through this program, and myself included. It wasn't until I cleaned up my diet and taught my body how to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar that I got my life back. It wasn't until I stopped eating the ice cream and the processed food and the red vines and the good and plenties and the Rocky Road ice cream and started cutting out carbs and sugar and got myself into this most amazing deep fat burning, which is what the Putavi, the transformation system, does. For 40 days, we get you into this most amazing deep fat burning state that mimics a fast. And then that brings us to what we're doing now. So now we're doing a 5-day water fast. Why? Why would you do a water fast? Because eating healthy is not enough. Food heals, but fasting heals as well. So we don't want to just always be eating keto, high healthy fats, proteins, vegetables, low sugar, low carbs. And we also don't always want to be fasting. Our bodies were meant to fluctuate. Our bodies were meant to go from feast to famine, fat burning to sugar burning. But the truth is that most of us were born onto this planet and we were born into ketosis. Babies are in fat burning when they're born. You're in ketosis when you enter into this world. But then with what we think is the healthy thing to do, what we've been taught, mostly by food companies, by the way, to eat every 2 hours, to keep your blood sugar level. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yeah, if you're full of toxins, if you're a sugar burner, if you're inflamed, if your main hormone is insulin, you need to eat every 2 hours, because if you don't, your blood sugar crashes and you can't make it through the day because you couldn't burn fat for fuel if your life depended on it. But I'm here tonight to tell you that your life depends on your body's ability to burn fat for fuel. The longevity of your life, the quality of your life, your propensity for disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, stroke, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune, etc., 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 is directly related to the amount of time your body spends in sugar burning. The more time your body spends in sugar burning, the sooner you'll die, the more disease you'll have in your body, the more inflammation you'll have in your body, the more miserable you'll be, and the more that you will suffer. That's the truth. That's the scientific truth. It's backed by science, it's backed by clinical studies. And the more time your body spends in fat burning, that blue, clean flame on the gas stove in your home, if you have gas, if you have a gas stove, if you have electric, then just picture that beautiful blue flame coming up. It's clean burning. It's anti-inflammatory. It's anti-aging. It creates human growth hormone release. It favors autophagy. It favors stem cell activity. It turns on your brain. The more time you spend in fat burning, the longer you'll live, the less chance you have of disease, the higher quality of life you'll have, the happier you'll be, and the greater impact you will have on your family and your friends, your grandchildren. The legacy that you'll leave is directly related to the level of health that you have right now. When you're not healthy, then you can't give all that you were meant to give. When you're sick, people sometimes talk about my like the fast is free. That's awesome. Water fasting is free. It doesn't cost any money. But if you really want to get coached and if you really want help and you really want to get your life back, fasting's amazing. But my 12-month Pura Vida transformation system is going to teach you how to eat. And some people will say, "Well, your program's kind of expensive. That's a lot of money." You know what's expensive? I'll tell you what expensive is. Expensive is facing a cancer diagnosis. Expensive is having to have your breast removed because there's cancer growing in your body. Expensive is when you're told that you have colon cancer and you lose part of your bowel. And then the cancer starts spreading to different parts of your body. That's expensive. I don't want that to happen to any of you. And it doesn't need to happen to any of you. You have control over your life. You have control over your health. The choices that you make on a daily basis, the decisions that you make on a daily basis have everything to do with your risk of disease and the quality of your life. So here we are, day 3, 72 hours in. We are now in autophagy. We are now secreting human growth hormone. And I'm here tonight to get you ready for tomorrow. Because tomorrow it's that clicking in, it's that shifting in to a higher gear. So day 1, shifting gear 1. Day 1, 24 hours. Okay. I was pretty tired on day 1. And then we shift in the second gear. Okay. Second gear, day 2. All right. Still kind of hungry. Got a little bit of a headache. Don't have a lot of energy. Day 3. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. Getting the engine revved up. Starting to really burn fat now. Starting to produce a lot more ketones now. I'm speeding up. Still a little hungry. I still might have some cravings. But guess what? Tomorrow's day 4. Today's hump day. Tomorrow, you're going to have autophagy at an all-time high. Tomorrow is going to be that spike. Tomorrow and Friday will be that total high spike of human growth hormone and stem cell activity. So the fourth day is when you're following it correctly and you've been listening to me and following my advice. The fourth day is when you kick into high gear. The fourth day is when people report feeling like almost like not ecstasy, but it's when the fourth day is when people get like this energy burst and like, oh my gosh, I feel so good, because you have so many ketones going on by the fourth day. Now your brain is just covered with all these amazing ketones, and the brain loves ketones. Your brain and your thinking and your mental capabilities are increased exponentially when you're using ketones for fuel instead of sugar. Sugar just goes up and down, up and down, up and down, highs and lows, highs and lows. Insulin, secreting insulin and storing fat. Ketones, when you're burning fat for fuel, now your brain's like, yes. Now you're getting deep. Now you're turning off cancer genes. So day 4 is a day that people usually have a burst of energy. That's the day that people usually say that they have enough energy to like detail their car. They're not tired at all. They feel better than they have in years. They're not hungry at all, because throughout these last 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday, we have been killing all of your bad bacteria. So we have 70 trillion cells in our body, but we have 10 times the amount of bacteria, parasites, yeast, and fungus in our gut. We're actually just a host to a bunch of microbes. And when you don't put food in your system for 3 days, all of those ugly little bastards, the little fungus and the bacteria that's not good for you and bad for you, and the yeast and the parasites, you are starving them. They're in there going, I'm dying. Give me some sugar, give me some carbs. That's why you get craving for sugars and carbs and junk food. It's not you craving the food. You've been taken over by microbes in your gut. And those microbes need toxins and sugar and carbs and processed food and GMO foods. That's what they thrive off of. That's what they live off of. Cancer cells too, by the way. Cancer cells feed off of sugar as well. Cancer cells have an increased amount of insulin receptors. They have more insulin receptors than regular cells in our body. Cancer cells love sugar. That's why when you do a 7-day water fast every year and you starve off all that ugly, bad, unhealthy bacteria, all those microbes in your gut that don't belong there, that have just overgrown and just taken hold and made house in your gut and given you cravings for foods you don't want or need, but they want or need them. So that's why you have these cravings. It's not your fault. So by tonight, by tomorrow, most of that bad stuff in your gut has died off. And so you should not have any cravings tomorrow. You should have better energy tomorrow. You should feel better than you felt in a really long time. So getting back to the longest fast that I ever had, 12 days, because I went to this training by Dr. Pompa and I met all these doctors and all these clients that were being coached by Dr. Pompa and different practitioners that have been training with him for years. And they were all sharing with me all these amazing stories about their fasts and what it did for them. And I talked to one fellow chiropractor who did a 21-day fast, and he had all these skin tags like on his neck and his back, and all these skin tags fell off during the 21-day fast. And I just remember thinking, wow, I mean, if he can do 21 days, and there was a lot of other changes that occurred in his body, miraculous changes. But I just remember like those skin tags falling off. And I'm like, I was so inspired that I decided to start the fast that Saturday night. The training was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Started the fast, so I stopped eating Saturday night and then training all day on Sunday. So I fasted Sunday, flew home on Monday, Tuesday, and I decided I was going to continue fasting because that's what I was taught, and that's what I'm teaching you as well, is you're going to keep fasting as long as you're not hungry. Now you're probably going to be hungry for the first day or two. But by day 4, and Coach Teresa just chimed in on the chat box, she's on day 4 because she started a day earlier than most of us. She does not have any cravings today, but it sounds like maybe yesterday she did. So it's day 3 for me. I still have a little bit of cravings, still a little hungry. My energy's been pretty good throughout the 3 days, other than the first day I was super tired. So anyway, I just kept going because I was taught to keep going. As long as you feel good and you're not hungry, keep fasting. So if you're on this journey with us, I want you to keep going, and I'll be here for you. Reach out to me. I'll keep going live. I'm going to go live tomorrow night, Thursday, Friday night, and I'll check in with you guys over the weekend. If you want to continue to go, keep going. But when you start, let's say you get to day 6, day 7, you're feeling great, you're not hungry, you feel good, your energy's good. And then maybe on day 8, you wake up and you're like, ooh, I'm hungry. Listen to your body. Because that's what happened to me on day 12. I went all the way to day 12. It was amazing. I have an age spot that before I started on this nutritional fat burning, intermittent fasting, diet variation journey 7 years ago in 2014, I have pictures, and this age spot was really dark, and it was pretty big. It was about half the size of a dime, and it was dark. And I didn't realize it, but several years into intermittent fasting, ketosis, diet variation, feast famine, water fasts, I noticed one day that this age spot, an age, AGE, stands for advanced glycosated end products. It's just high sugars in your body from being a sugar burner that form a molecule with protein and create these dark spots. The spot was lighter, significantly lighter. And then when I did that 12-day water fast, it was even lighter. And then in January, when I did the 5-day water fast, it was even lighter. Now you can like barely even see it. It's crazy. You can barely even see it. So I think I just want to keep going until like this is completely gone. So those moles, those age spots like on the back of grandma's hand, my grandma had a bunch of those on the back of her hand. Those are just sugars, oxidation. It's almost like, you know how you roast a marshmallow, and this beautiful white marshmallow, whether it's white or whether your skin's dark or whatever, but whatever the color of your skin originally, and then you put that marshmallow in there, and then it like catches on fire because it's all sugar and it turns black, right? Like really dark. That's sugar oxidizing, and that's what those spots are. It's like aging, oxidating sugars that form molecules with proteins and create those spots on the back of your hand, or in my case, on your face, which you can't even see it, or wherever they are. Okay. So you want to listen to your body. So tomorrow's day 4. Tomorrow should be a breakthrough day for most of you. Autophagy, remember when autophagy turned on? 17 hours. Autophagy turns on at 17 hours. Autophagy, self-eating, that's a powerful part of the body that eats up disease cells, cleanups all the cellular debris, goes after unhealthy tissue, scar tissue, cleans out organelles in the cells that aren't needed, or entire cells that are too unhealthy. So autophagy is that recycle pattern where we can get rid of any bad cells that cannot adapt. So when you're fasting, good healthy cells are untouched. Cells that are serving you, that are adding to your health and vitality and your longevity in your life, they're untouched. But cells that aren't working so good, cells that are old and worn out and producing cancer or getting ready to turn to cancer, bad cells cannot adapt. So that process started the first day at 17 hours and it reaches maximum level at 72 hours. That's where we are right now. We're at 72 hours. So tomorrow, you're full blown autophagy. Turn it up, baby. Full blown autophagy. Full blown high speed self healing. And we've also turned on human growth hormone. Fat burning is at its all-time high. Tomorrow should be your highest levels of ketones. So if you're checking ketones on a meter, ketones for fat burning are anywhere from 0.5 all the way up to about 8. So by tomorrow, your ketones should be somewhere between like 2 and 5. And that's significant because it indicates you're in deep fat burning. You're using fat for fuel. You're producing ketones, which heal the gut, heal the cells, turn off cancer genes, and heal the brain. That's what you can expect for tomorrow. Glucose levels, which are normally fasting somewhere between 80 and 100, it's very common, as I talked about last night. As you go through the fasting, ketones are going to continue to go up as glucose and insulin go down. So if your glucose drops down to like 40, 50, or 60, that is nothing to be concerned about, because if your ketones are between 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is where your ketones should be by tomorrow, that means that your body doesn't need glucose, that you're living off a different fuel. So it's like you're a hybrid car where you can either use electric or gas. You can either use gas, which creates pollution and toxins, which is a sugar burner, or you can use electricity, which is totally clean burning, doesn't damage the environment, totally sustainable. So we're hybrids. We're meant to be able to do fat burning and sugar burning. But staying in fat burning more time in your life is always better. Using electricity to power a car is always better for the planet. But if the electricity runs low, or you just need to change it up a little bit, you can just kick in and use a little bit of gas, use a little bit of sugar. It takes time, though, to train the body how to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. And that's why we do the 12-month Pura Vida transformation system. So this is a 5-day water fast. This is going to really help your body tremendously. But when we do the coaching program, we teach you how to eat. We customize everybody's program for themselves. And it's not about losing weight. People do lose 20, 30, 40 pounds every 40 days. But it's not about losing weight. It's about cleaning out your body, learning how to eat properly, learning how to do intermittent fasting, water fasting, bone broth fasting, diet variation, feast days, famine days, building up at least 1 or 2 days a week once you're young enough and healthy enough, hormone building foods so that we can give your body all the foods it needs to create estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. And so we teach all of that in the program. What are all those foods? You discover for yourself what is the best ratio for you and what's the best variation for you, because everybody's different, right? So it's definitely downhill from here. Throw in the comments how you're doing. Let me read a couple of the comments. Green tea, okay to drink. A pure water fast would be just water. But I would say green tea, if that's what you decide to do. Many of the people that are doing the program right now, they're staying completely with water and minerals only. Is green tea going to take you out of ketosis? No. Is green tea going to minimize the effect of the fast? Probably not. It's probably fine. So from a purist perspective, we're doing water and minerals. But if you feel like it and you want to do a little herb tea, a little green tea, that's fine. Um, so if you have cancer, can you be cured by fasting? So that's a very difficult question to answer online. I would say that every single person you need to take an individual case of. Dr. Walter Longo, who founded the Prolone program, which is a fasting mimicking program, which we have available in our clinics for anybody that wants to break their fast and continue fasting, but be able to eat at the same time. We have the Prolone professional kits in our office, and it's 5 days of plant-based fasting mimicking foods, and tells you exactly what to eat on day 1, exactly what to eat on day 2, 3, 4, and 5. And even though you're eating soups and nut bars and olives and these different really amazing foods, they're in the perfect macronutrient ratio and micronutrient ratio so that the body still thinks that it's in a water fast. So it's a great way to actually break this 5, 6, 7, 8 day water fast and continue the effects of fasting, but by being able to eat. So anyway, Dr. Walter Longo he's a researcher. He's out of USC. I think he's from Italy. He's traveled the world studying cultures and people who have lived the longest on this planet. He's been everywhere. He's gone to all these blue zones where people live the longest and are the healthiest. You can look him up. There's several videos. I just watched like an hour and a half interview with him over the weekend because that's the nerd that I am. I'm at my river house with my family on my boat, and what am I doing? Listening to an hour and a half lecture of Dr. Walter Longo being interviewed about fasting mimicking, and the power of fasting on cancer cells. So he's done tons of studies, mostly with mice, but it's another mammal closest to us genetically. And after 3 days of fasting, cancer cells can't adapt. He also did a lot of studies with humans and mice showing that some of the most potent effects with people with cancer that were undergoing chemo was doing fasting with chemo. When they did fasting and chemo together, they had the most amazing outcome. Whereas just doing chemo does not give you a good outcome. Now, can you just fast without chemo? That's not something that I really want to comment on. Again, every cancer cases I need to take on an individual basis. I've studied a lot about health, nutrition, functional medicine, anti-aging, preventative medicine, cancer, but I definitely don't consider myself a cancer expert. My expertise is in hormone balancing, weight loss resistance, health optimization, and diabetes. That's what I specialize in. So I can talk to you all day long about diabetes. We reverse diabetes, believe it or not, within a few weeks on our Pura Vida transformation system. I just finished writing a book of diabetes, the diabetic weight loss solution, all about my program and all of the clients that I've taken through the program over the years and the miraculous transformations that have occurred in their lives, getting off multitudes of medications, reversing the disease, taking somebody from stage 3 kidney failure to perfectly optimal functioning kidneys. That's pretty amazing. All right, so day 4, it's a turning point. The cravings should change. So please know that if you're not fasting with us and you have cravings, it's probably not you. It's probably all those bad bugs, those microbes that are living in your gut. Starve them off. Stay on this water fast and starve off all those bugs. So remember, for day 4, continue to journal, pray, meditate. Remember I talked to you about having a purpose for this fast that's bigger than yourself. As I said, for me, I'm been dedicating my fast to my grandson and just his happiness and his emotional health. And I'm dedicating it to him. And I've been praying for him and focusing on him. So maybe you dedicate it to, a family member that you lost to diabetes or cancer. Maybe you're dedicating it to your grandchildren because you want to be happy and healthy and be around for another 10, 15, 20 years for your grandchildren. And doing fasts and going through my Pura Vida transformation system will help you be all that you can be. So let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover. Any questions, any comments? Oh, okay. So as we get closer, because we're just finishing up day 3, tomorrow's day 4. But if let's say you weren't very hungry earlier today, or you didn't have any hunger since day 1, and maybe day 4, day 5, you start getting hungry, don't feel like you can't break the fast just because we're going 5 days or 6 days or 7 days. I want to help each of you go through this own journey on your own. So the main indicator that tells you to break your fast is hunger. Your tongue right now should be pretty coated. You're detoxifying. You're getting rid of all kinds of junk in your body. As you're burning fat, most of the toxins are fat soluble. They're stored in fat. They're stored in your cellular membrane. So as you're fasting and you're cleaning out your cells, and in fact, you're actually losing a lot of damaged, dehydrated, inflamed, worn out cells. You're actually killing them off. So you're really releasing a lot of toxins, because if you're killing off an entire cell, every cell's membrane is filled with fat soluble toxins, because the membrane itself is made of 2 layers of fat. So toxins, whether they're heavy metals, pesticides, BPA plastics, all these different chemicals in our beauty care products, chemicals in our cleaning products, they're either going to be in your fat cells that you're burning right now for fuel, and that's why you don't have to eat, and that's why you're not going after muscle. If you are losing any muscle, it's damaged, diseased, unhealthy muscle. Don't worry about it. Anything that you're losing right now is what you don't need. It's not serving you. Your body will hold on to the healthy, good stuff, I promise. So when the tongue is no longer coated, because it should be coated by now. So if you're hungry, or really severe symptoms like you can't get up out of bed, or you go to stand up and you feel like you're going to pass out, it's time to break your fast. Listen, don't get it in your head, I'm going to make it to day 5, or I'm going to make it to day 7. Don't do that. Listen to your body. Your body wants to serve you, but we're not taught how to listen to our body. We're not taught to love our body and admire our body and take care of our bodies. We're not taught that. Nobody teaches us to really listen. We're just taught, oh, you have a symptom, you have a cold, oh, go to the doctor. Oh, just take this medication. How about, why did you get a cold? What stress do you have in your life? How are you eating that your immune system's so depressed that you caught that cold in the first place? That's another thing. When you're fasting, you are completely rebuilding your immune system. And that's another thing that Dr. Walter Longo discovered. It's only 3 days into a fast where your immune system's completely rebooted. Like all the white blood cells and all those lymphocytes and monocytes and eosinophils and different parts of your immune system, any of those cells that aren't healthy and strong and aren't a good soldier for your army, those soldiers are gone. Those soldiers are gone. Only the healthy, strong, big soldiers are left, and you actually build new white blood cells. And that only happens in 3 days. So the virus, whatever you want to call it, this pandemic, virus cells cannot replicate when you're in a state of autophagy. Virus cells cannot replicate when your immune system has been rebooted because you're fasting. Your immune system is directly related to the health of your body and how you're eating and how you're fasting. So we have much more power and control over our lives than we give ourselves credit for. All right, so tomorrow is day 4. Any questions before I go? Listen to your body. If it's time to break the fast forward in the guide and go to page, whatever this page is, breaking the fast. Remember that your digestive system's been dormant for 5 days, or maybe it's only been 3 days. Enzyme activity is low, and the bacteria have been starved. We want to go low and slow, which means low calories, easy to digest foods. It's imperative to reseed the gut, to rebuild a healthy gut so we don't have leaky gut anymore, so that we don't have autoimmune, so that we don't have lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, myasthenia gravis. Those are all autoimmune, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's. That's a leaky gut because of dysbiosis, too many of the bad microbes taking over, creating channels in your gut that allow undigested food particles to go into your bloodstream. And the body sees those undigested food particles as foreign invaders, and your body starts attacking itself. And whatever your genetic weakness is, it's going to be expressed as Lyme's disease, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. That's just the body attacking itself from a leaky gut. So we want to, it's very, very important when we bring these new foods back in, when you're ready to do that. And maybe that's tonight. That's okay. Celebrate the win. Celebrate 72 hours. That's friggin' amazing. Maybe it's tomorrow. Celebrate the 4th day. Whenever it is, listen to your body. But it's imperative that you get good probiotic fermented foods into your gut. So if you're going to break the fast, look at the fasting guide. I have all the foods listed. Soft, easy to digest foods, raw fermented vegetables, cultured cottage cheese, pasture raised eggs, avocados, steamed vegetables, bone broth, and you want just low and slow, low calorie, slow, easily digestible foods. All right, so I'll come back at you live tomorrow night at the end of day 4, and we're going to talk about day 5 and maybe day 6, maybe day 7. If you want to continue, reach out and ask us about the ProLoam Professional Kit that we carry in our office. I'm offering a discount to anybody that's going through the fast. The kits are normally $249. We're offering a 10% discount, which is $25 off, which is pretty cool. The ProLoam Professional is only available by participating physicians that are participating in the ProLoam program. There's another kit available that is not a professional level. The ingredients are not as high of quality, and they contain a lot of lectins and nightshade vegetables, which can create a lot of inflammation in the gut, similar to glutens. So we don't want to get those normal original kits that have different nightshades and different lectin plants that create inflammation and contribute to the leaky gut issue. All right, any other questions? See if I have any comments here. Let's see. Mary's watching. Hi, Mary. Paulina is watching. Dee, thank you for the motivation. I'm not doing the water fast, but I'm doing 23-hour fasting. Awesome. I'm only eating protein and good fats. Perfect. I had a terrible headache today. That's okay. That's because you're going through like sugar withdrawal. They call that like the keto flu. Totally normal. You're doing great, Dee. Keep up the good work. All right. And Martha, she's watching. I know she's fasting right now. She sent me a text today. All of my clients, the members of my Pura Vida tribe that are going through my 12-month coaching program, they have direct access to me on a daily basis via text. What other program do you know of that you can text your doctor on a daily basis when you have questions or concerns or clinical questions or need help and support? Kat's on the line. She's going through the fast. She's a client of mine. to break the fast, you need to do it for 3 days. No, you can break the fast at any time, whenever you're ready. Kat says she's going to use her Keto Mojo. So Keto Mojo is a glucose and ketone meter, just like the diabetics that prick their finger to get their glucose readings. The Keto Mojo, I highly recommend that brand, by the way. I don't have that one, but I've seen it at a lot of the trainings that I've been to. And the reason the Keto Mojo is so nice is it's very, very accurate. I've met the actual creator of Keto Mojo in person and been tested with that device several times in the trainings that I've been to. But the nice thing about the Keto Mojo is most meters that do both glucose and ketone, the ketone strips are about $4 a piece. Glucose strips commonly are about $1 a piece. But the ketone strips for most of the meters out there are about $4 a piece. However, Keto Mojo, it's just as accurate, and they're only $1 a piece for the ketone strips. Thank you for being here for me. Lynette's going through the fast. What do I think about MCT powder? I love MCT. So medium chain triglycerides from coconut. So coconut has a bunch of different carbon chains. They've got like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and there's specific medium chain triglycerides. I believe it's 6 and 8 that instantly get broken down into the body, bypassing the liver into ketones. So MCT is a great way to throw ketones into your bloodstream if you're trying to get into like ketosis. I put MCT oil in my coffee in the morning when I'm eating my regular intermittent fasting and I've got my 5 to 7 eating window, 5 to 7 hour eating window. I do coffee in the morning, which does not break my fast, does not take me out of ketosis. In fact, when you add MCT oil, because it breaks down into ketones so easily, your blood sugar actually stays level longer and helps keep you in fat burning. So I love MCT oil or powder. That's fine. Powder. I think I'd rather do the oil. Do you eat the break fast foods for 3 days? Oh, I'm sorry. I misread your question. Yes. So you just want to kind of start very low. Like I think the best way to break a fast is with some healthy fat. I would say avocado or like a scoop of coconut oil would be the most amazing, best way to break a fast. And then you wouldn't have an actual meal, like maybe some steamed vegetables or soup, or maybe like a couple scrambled eggs until 2 or 3 hours later. So the best thing to do is just get some really high quality, healthy fats into your system, avocado, scoop of raw almond butter, a tablespoon of coconut oil. Just get that healthy fat into your system. Wait 2 or 3 hours, and then you want to start doing some easily digested vegetables. You can do fresh pressed vegetable juices, not fruit juices. We don't want to bring any sugar or carbs into your system. We want to keep you in fat burning for as long as we can. We want to extend the positive effects of increased human growth hormone, which builds muscle and makes you younger. We want to extend the benefits of stem cell activity that actually makes brand new cells. We want to extend the benefits of ketones, which protect your brain and protect your cells and rebuild your gut. We want to extend that for as long as possible. So you can stay in ketosis if you do this right way by not bringing in any fruit or any carbohydrates and just sticking with healthy fats and low carb vegetables and very low protein. So if you keep your protein below 20 grams for the next week, let's say, and lots of low carb veggies and lots of good healthy fat, you're going to stay in deep ketosis. You're going to stay in autophagy. You're going to be able to eat, but still continue on this deep healing journey. So I hope that answers your question. You do want to slowly eat a little bit more. So start your calories low, and then just the next day, a little bit higher calorie, a little bit higher calorie, a little bit higher calorie. But yes, for the most part, those first 3 days, do not eat off of this list. I'm sorry, only eat off of this list. For the first 3 days, the only thing you should be eating or drinking is bone broth, fresh pressed vegetable juices, mostly greens, no fruit, soft cooked vegetables, berries, low glycemic fruit. I would say don't even do the fruit, or if you are going to do fruit, make sure it's either strawberries, raspberries, or blackberries. Blueberries are too high in sugar. Avocados, fermented dairy, if you do well with dairy, like kefir, full fat yogurt. You can actually get a probiotic cottage cheese. It's called cultured cottage cheese. It's delicious. Fermented vegetables, I highly recommend getting all kinds of raw fermented vegetables. There's several different brands that Whole Foods and or Sprouts carries. It's in the refrigerator section. There's kimchi, there's beets, there's cabbage, there's bok choy. It's raw and it's fermented and it's filled with all of that good, healthy bacteria, along with all of the fiber that the good bacteria need, because you want to start growing only the good bacteria. So the fiber is called a prebiotic, and then all of the good bacteria in the fermented foods, that good bacteria is a probiotic. So you have prebiotics, which is mostly vegetable fiber, and then you have probiotics, which are the bacteria that were created during the fermentation process. Yes, you can bake vegetables, absolutely. Can you have coffee? Yes, I have mixed feelings about coffee. I love coffee. I have a hard time not drinking coffee. I would say make sure it's organic. Make sure you only do 1 cup and you want to add healthy oils. I have a recipe that I will post tomorrow called Dr. CJ's Cup of Joe, which I think would be a really amazing way to break the fast. You can make it with organic ghee, grass-fed butter, coconut oil, organic cacao, almond milk, maybe some organic half and half. You brew the coffee, you put the coffee in a blender, you add the coconut oil, the MCT oil, the organic ghee, or whatever healthy oils you want to add, a little bit of organic cacao, maybe some stevia or erythritol or monk fruit. Those are the only 3 sweeteners you should be using. And then you blend it with a little bit of almond milk or a little bit of organic half and half, and you blend that. Oh, cinnamon, add cinnamon, and add some of our amazing Premier pink salt, which is half Mediterranean, half Hawaiian. Add the salt to the coffee, and then you blend it. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. It is so good. So I want to know who the Facebook user is. Is that Nancy? Because anytime you're commenting, it just says Facebook user, and I don't know who it is. Thank you for your support. I'm finishing day 4 today. Who is that? Is that Nancy? All right, any questions? Any comments? So I've been going live every night at 7 o'clock, and I'm using software that allows me to go live into CJ Benkert's page. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Kim. I'm going live into the Pura Vida Wellness business page. Please log in to the Pura Vida Wellness business page and like my page and follow my page. I'd appreciate it. I'm also going live into our community group, which is called Pura Vida Wellness with Dr. CJ. It's where I go live and I do challenges, and I'm just here to provide help and resources any way that I can. And then we have a private Pura Vida Wellness tribe group that's for paying members only that are part of my 12-month coaching program. So Kim is a member of my tribe. Nancy's a member of my tribe. Carmen is a member of my tribe. And then I know we have some people on here that aren't members, that just found us on Facebook, or maybe you have friends or family that go through the program, or maybe you've seen me on Facebook. Oh, and I'm also going live into my YouTube channel. So please go into my YouTube channel. Just go into YouTube and search for Dr. CJ Benkert, and please subscribe and give me a thumbs up for my YouTube channel, because my goal, my mission this year is to build my YouTube channel up so that I can reach over 100,000 people and bring this message of healthy eating, fasting, diet variation, diabetic reversal to the masses. So help me build that YouTube channel. That's where I want to put all of my efforts this year so that I can reach more people, have a larger impact, and fulfill my mission, fulfill my purpose, which is to save lives, transform lives. That's what I'm all about, baby. All right, everybody. I love everybody. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being a part of my tribe, for taking part in this journey with me. I'm signing off now, Dr. CJ Benkert with Pura Vida Wellness, helping you, encouraging you, motivating, inspiring you to live your purest life, your purest, happiest, joyous life in mind, body, and spirit. And I will see everybody tomorrow night. Day 4, yeah.